Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus, aka MILLI VANILLI, active since 1988. Today's feature, if performed in today's day, would have went viral and stayed there for months as the laughingstock of social media, with memes and challenges all being made to gang laugh at what happened to them in 1989. If you aren't familiar with this group, imagine two guys walking down the streets and all the ladies they pass gawk at their appearance and gives them the attention one seeks from the opposite sex. You see a guy notice this going on and walks up to the attractive gentleman and asks them if they had any musical ability to go along with those looks. Both guys say yeah mate and attempt to show the curious man with the oversized suit and briefcase with papers falling out of it their talent. After, he pauses for a sec, looks both in the eye and says, "You guys sound like shit, but here's what we can do. How about I put a fake voice to your faces and all you have to do is be yourselves in interviews, shows, and in videos while these guys sing for you through pre-recorded soundcheck vocals. No one will ever know." Both guys accept and a business relationship is formed, and from that day, the word fraudulent had a new and hip name, MILLI VANILLI. That's basically how the introduction went between Fab, Rob, and their founder Frank Farian, in my mind anyway. Farian signed MILLI VANILLI and promised to make both of them millionaires, and was right on the cusp of fulfilling that promise until a live performance where I guess the DJ didn't receive his front end, had it out for the group, allowed the record to their hit song Girl You Know It's True to skip perfectly on those words, and everything fell apart. Group members began running off stage as fans in shock look on, confused for the most part. Normal technical difficulties, right? Why are they now scattering like roaches? Well, because the jig was up, publicly. It was the first time MILLI VANILLI's fans saw the truth about their beloved group, that they weren't the ones actually singing the words to a song that sold millions, peaked atop the Billboard charts, and was slated to be one of the standout hit songs of the late 80s and 90s. It also won the group MILLI VANILLI a Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1990. One that was stripped from the group as outraged fans that paid for cassettes, CDs, and live shows demanded a refund, which most of them got at a percentage in the group's decade-long fall from grace. Both went on to be full-blown drug addicts, and one even died of accidental overdose in 1998 at 32 years old. MILLI VANILLI had half the equation to become superstars as women drove their sales through the roof, but musically they'll go down as unquestionably the biggest frauds in history. Here's what stunted their growth. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. You can also send a super thanks by clicking the button below. Enjoy the video. Rob and Fab of MILLI VANILLI met each other while at a dance seminar and attempted to become backup singers, but after they couldn't find work, they decided to take their above-average singing talents and form a group. They had a warm-up attempt of sorts with a small German record label and sold a few records, but it didn't amount to the stardom they thought, nor the bills being paid, so both lived in poverty for a while until they could figure it out. And then, one day, out the blue, they get a call from Frank Farian's representative, who informed them that the music producer loved their tracks and was interested in them visiting his studio. As soon as they walked in, their future hit song was already playing on the loudspeakers. Frank asked the guys their thoughts on the record and if they think they could sing it. Both said they liked the record and replied with a quick yes, they think they could sing the song. Frank replies, "There, then it's settled. I'm going to make you guys a lot of money." He pulls out contracts, and Rob and Fab, without taking the time to read it, both sign on to become someone other than themselves. Stunt number 1, untimely production malfunction. The fact MILLI VANILLI were lip-syncing their music and willingly deceiving their fans wasn't the issue. It's that they got caught with their skin-tight spandex shorts down, live on stage in front of thousands and eventually the entire world. Fraudulent things happen every day, especially in the entertainment industry, where they make action movie stars seem taller than they really are, CGI that made Tom Cruise look like a superhero in the 90s, makeup, fake martial arts fight scenes that had DMX looking like Steven Seagal, and more that cover up where the entertainer may lack. The formula of MILLI Vanilli obviously worked enough that even the Grammy board of all people, whose jobs it is to listen to music, were played right along with us common folk for long enough to actually sell millions and become lifelong celebrities. Had that performance July 21st, 1989 gone on without a supposed hard drive malfunction, which I never believed, because what's the chance a hard drive skips perfectly on the climax of your hit song and continues to replay 15 times like a compact disc? This to me was a sabotage by someone who doesn't get the recognition for being the first real troll, a legend that guy. But playing into the reports that a hard drive skipped, had that not happened, MILLI Vanilli would have went right on fooling the world as they perfected their duplicity, along with electronics improving drastically in those times, making them a well-oiled, polished group of average talent ready to bask in the glory. I could only imagine they made it through decades of doing this, ride off into the musical Hall of Fame sunset, and finally this news comes out in the social media era. It would be the biggest story of all time. Lucky for them, their drama happened in the late 80s and early 90s, and today has all but been forgotten by most. Had that untimely malfunction not happened, I wonder what would have become of MILLI Vanilli. Stunt number 2, bad management. Which leads right into this. MILLI Vanilli wouldn't have been in this situation had it not been for the reckless management of Frank Farian. His greed and pursuit of money at all costs led him to think he could trust whoever was running the hard drive system that exposed his MILLI Vanilli project and himself, causing him potential millions in possible future earnings he would have gained off this group. If it were me, I'd be at every show with my fingers solely on the buttons that made so many women scream in belief Fab and Rob were talking to them in their music. I guess when things are going that well, in a time there weren't examples of this happening, not even he thought, what's the worst that could happen? Farian didn't stop there. After the group were exposed, this hustler, who maintained he did nothing wrong, attempted to replace the fake singers with the real singers, who even favored the fake singers and named them the real MILLI Vanilli. The new efforts went nowhere, so Farian tries again to reinvent the magic, swapping out a few members and calling his new rendition Try and Be. Cannot make this up. His efforts went nowhere fast, as neither MILLI Vanilli nor Frank Farian ever capitalized on their potential. With someone else running the show, maybe MILLI Vanilli could have lied to us forever. Stunt number 3, not bouncing back. Like mentioned, it's entertainment. MILLI Vanilli being caught didn't have to be the end to Fab and Rob musically on the level they reached. This also plays into bad management, but had they have the right publicists and able to spin this situation the right way, or actually hit the studio and try to polish the talents they really had and re-release to the world as themselves with like an Oprah paid to back them, they could have maybe bounced back. Oh wait, they tried that. But instead, they chose to play into the running joke about them. Some would call it cooning in today's terms, like castings, making fun of themselves, chicken commercials, all the wrong things following the exposure, and although it extended their fame, it didn't move the needle financially, musically, or personally. They attempted to make a comeback on their 1993 self-titled album, but it moved just 2,000 copies, as the joke on them just couldn't be unseen. They would turn to drugs eventually, and Rob once had to be talked down from a balcony by police in 1991 and continued down the junkie path until it got the best of him in 1998 when he accidentally overdosed. All in all, MILLI Vanilli, if nothing else, are a group that will forever be remembered. Not talked about, but no one that knew of their story will ever forget the embarrassment they were in pop music and their attempt at misrepresenting themselves that made them the biggest joke in the history of entertainment. They had a chance to be one of music's biggest artists, but for these reasons, their growth was stunted. Salute, rest in peace to Rob. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.